Blake and Ryan are so bitter that they were not invited, because that hurt their image even more, I think, than this entire legal feud. And it just added to how much people disliked them.
And Blake Lively was pointedly left off the guest list. And someone said this to me, and I think there's some truth to it. This is a working theory of the case, that Taylor aggressively invited every famous person she could think of as a way to say to Blake Lively, here's how little I think of you now.
They feel completely humiliated. Everyone noticed they weren't there, and that's the kind of public embarrassment you never forget.
Welcome back to Amelia Brown. What if one celebrity weekend away wasn't just a vacation at all? What if it was part of a much bigger effort to control the conversation? That's exactly what many online observers began asking after Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds skipped Taylor Swift's wedding. And according to the narrative, the couple already knew their absence would trigger endless speculation. Reports suggest Blake and Ryan understood that fans would immediately start connecting the dots once they weren't seen at Taylor's wedding. Instead of allowing those discussions to dominate, they reportedly headed to Canada, presenting themselves as relaxed, busy, and completely unaffected. The impression, according to the narrative, was that their own activities would become the headline instead of the wedding they didn't attend. But here's where things took an unexpected turn. The story claims they overlooked one major obstacle. Taylor Swift's longtime publicist, Payne, was reportedly already prepared to respond. According to the narrative, any attempt to redirect public attention was quickly recognized, and the distraction never gained the momentum it was supposedly intended to create.
If Taylor wanted to send a message, she couldn't have made it any clearer. Steven Spielberg was there. Paul McCartney was there. Hollywood royalty was there.
He doesn't look like a very happy person from behind, at least. I don't know if he had a big smile on walking there, but I have a feeling that the both of them now, they are feeling this big time. And as I said before, I think just the fact that Blake wasn't invited to Taylor's wedding was the biggest vindication.
Before long, the Canada trip became a hot topic online, but not for the reason the couple may have hoped. TMZ published photos showing Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds walking through a small Canadian town, eating lunch on the rooftop of a Mexican restaurant, and stopping by a local boutique. The timing immediately caught people's attention because it happened during the very same weekend as Taylor Swift's wedding. Social media quickly filled with jokes. Blake, usually praised for glamorous fashion choices, appeared in simple beige Crocs. Ryan's casual outfit also became part of the conversation, with some online users comparing his appearance to a stereotypical vacation dad, or even someone starring in a credit card commercial. According to the narrative, many interpreted the outing as an attempt to show they were completely unbothered by missing the wedding. Instead, the photos appeared to fuel even more discussion about why they weren't on the guest list, leaving the original questions very much alive.
Snub.
I mean, could this have gotten worse for Blake and Ryan? This to me was like the biggest pop culture moment of the decade. And they would have been in the front row, right? And now they weren't even invited. And Barbara from Shark Tank was. I mean, no disrespect to her, but that's just how far they've fallen.
Now here's where the story becomes even more interesting. According to the narrative, if Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds truly weren't bothered by missing Taylor Swift's wedding, critics questioned why there seemed to be multiple public outings during that same weekend. Soon after the Canada photos, TMZ released another set of images, this time showing the couple at a farm in Lake Placid. That location immediately sparked fresh speculation. Since Lake Placid is only about a 4.5-hour drive from New York City, many online observers pointed out they could have attended the wedding if they had actually been invited. Instead, they traveled in the opposite direction to support their daughter, Betty, as she competed in a horse show. Betty earned second place, an achievement that stood on its own. But according to the narrative, what really grabbed attention was the timing. Because the photos surfaced while Taylor's wedding was taking place, some questioned whether the release was simply a coincidence or part of a broader effort to influence the public conversation.
We're going to see them stage something. It's probably going to be in a park. It might be with children. It might be in a soup kitchen. They're going to rub it in.
But the story doesn't stop there. According to the narrative, the Lake Placid appearance wasn't viewed as an isolated event. Instead, it was presented as another step in a larger strategy that had supposedly begun even earlier in New York City. The account argues that the Canada trip failed to shift public attention away from the wedding speculation. As a result, the Lake Placid outing was interpreted by some observers as the next move, or even a backup plan to keep the spotlight focused elsewhere. Whether that interpretation is accurate remains a matter of opinion. But within the narrative, these public appearances are portrayed as connected events rather than random family outings, suggesting a coordinated effort to shape how the story unfolded. And that's where the next chapter introduces someone many believe played a major role behind the scenes.
Conversation.
Look at this cheeky little press tour. Did they call the paparazzi themselves? Is she gonna lick that boogie off his hand? Oh, a little tap on the butt. They're trying to show that they're a united couple. They're like, oh, this lawsuit, it hasn't gotten between us at all. I assure you. Look how happy we are.
But here's
Blake and
where another key figure enters the picture. According to the narrative, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were up against someone known for aggressively protecting Taylor Swift's public image, her longtime publicist, Payne. The story describes her as someone who responds quickly whenever she believes inaccurate reports could harm Taylor's reputation. It points to a 2023 example, when Tree publicly rejected rumors claiming Taylor Swift and her former boyfriend, Joe Alwyn, had secretly held a marriage ceremony. The narrative presents that incident as evidence of her willingness to step in and challenge stories she considered misleading. Now look at this. The account claims that once Blake and Ryan's Canada trip started making headlines, Taylor's team reportedly pushed back through trusted media outlets. According to those reports, the trip was described as an attempt to shift attention away from questions surrounding their absence from Taylor's wedding. The narrative also says conflicting reports soon emerged. Some suggested Blake had received an invitation but chose not to attend. Others, reportedly linked to Taylor's camp, claimed Taylor had intentionally distanced herself from Blake and wanted to surround herself only with people she trusted and who brought peace into her life. Entertainment Tonight also reported that Taylor remained a loyal friend, but did not want to become involved in the growing controversy. According to the narrative, major media outlets were even instructed not to ask Taylor about Blake or Ryan during interviews, preventing the issue from dominating future press appearances. The story argues that Payne successfully reinforced that boundary and kept the focus away from Taylor herself.
Forums.
Taylor's team made it crystal clear Blake is off limits. They're not in a good place, and Taylor doesn't want it overshadowing her album or the engagement news.
Now
Blake
the
and
story
Ryan's-
shifts from public appearances to the people allegedly working behind the scenes. According to the narrative, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' declining public support reflected a larger difference in crisis management strategies. The account portrays their longtime representative, Leslie Sloan, as relying on a traditional Hollywood PR approach, one shaped during the early 2000s while working with major celebrities such as Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears. The story argues that those older methods often depended on media leaks, planted stories, and carefully managed headlines. But according to the narrative, those tactics are far less effective today, with social media allowing audiences to challenge and question public narratives in real time. Then the claims become even more serious. The narrative highlights Leslie Sloan's past professional relationship with Harvey Weinstein, noting that she previously worked as his publicist before launching Vision PR, with financial backing reportedly connected to him. It claims that this history attracted renewed scrutiny after Blake's dispute with Justin Baldoni became public. According to the account, Sloan and crisis management consultant Jed Wallace allegedly relied on behind-the-scenes media strategies and carefully placed stories to influence public opinion. The narrative also alleges that a company called Vanzin was created so legal action could initially move forward without Blake's name being prominently attached. It further claims this allowed subpoenas to obtain communications connected to individuals linked with Justin Baldoni before the lawsuit was later withdrawn, leading critics to argue that the legal process had served a broader publicity objective. The story then contrasts those alleged tactics with Payne's approach. According to the narrative, she relied on direct public statements instead of indirect campaigns or shell entities. It also points to the coincidence that Vision PR's offices were located in a building associated with Madison Square Garden, while Taylor Swift's wedding was reportedly connected to the same venue. The account presents this as another symbolic sign that Taylor intended to keep her distance from Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and avoid any public association with
for their
them.
gains.
Now I'm actually convinced that Taylor was the one who planted the seed that Blake was invited to her wedding, because then she could come out and make sure there were more headlines saying that Blake was definitely not invited, and they never had any conversations, they never had any phone calls. That made the humiliation even worse for Blake, and I think this is proof that Taylor is really holding a grudge against her.
But the story doesn't end with public appearances or media strategy. According to the narrative, Ryan Reynolds' Canadian roots became another important part of the conversation. Ryan has often spoken about how proud he is to be Canadian. In a previous interview, he explained that all 4 of his children with Blake Lively hold dual US and Canadian citizenship. He also shared that the family developed a strong connection to Canada after spending extended periods in Vancouver, while he filmed the first 2 Deadpool movies. Ryan even joked that he hoped the franchise would never make it to an 8th film, because he had no interest in ending up with 8 children. Now here's what caught even more attention. Although Blake and Ryan currently live in New York, Ryan revealed they had quietly been looking for a home in British Columbia. Around that same period, the couple also made significant charitable donations in Canada, contributing $250,000 to the Influence Mentoring Society in Calgary, which supports Indigenous youth through mentorship, and $500,000 to Water First Education and Training, an organization dedicated to improving access to safe drinking water for Indigenous communities across the country. According to the narrative, the timing of those donations became part of the public discussion because they happened while the couple was facing intense online criticism. As a result, some observers questioned whether the contributions reflected genuine philanthropy, public relations, or a combination of both. The story notes that high-profile charitable giving during periods of controversy has often sparked similar debates, leaving critics divided over the motivations behind such actions.
I don't pretend that my kids can fully understand this. I mean, it's like kind of Canada to me is a culmination of a lifetime of meaning, and I've always considered Canada kind of like a third parent to me.
And this is where the narrative says everything finally started to unravel. According to the story, the carefully crafted public image surrounding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds didn't slowly fade, it began to break apart all at once. As criticism connected to the Justin Baldoni dispute continued to grow, Ryan was honored as an Officer of the Order of Canada, one of the country's highest civilian distinctions, while Blake proudly shared moments from the ceremony. But the celebration was quickly overshadowed. Commentator Candace Owens publicly called for Ryan to be deported back to Canada, accusing him of playing a central role in the controversy and repeating claims from unnamed sources that the dispute began after disagreements over a film script. Those remarks added even more attention to an already heated situation. At the same time, speculation about Blake's friendship with Taylor Swift reached a new level. According to reports referenced in the narrative, Blake was believed to know deeply personal details about Taylor's private life, and some critics interpreted references to that knowledge as an attempt to maintain leverage after allegedly being pushed out of Taylor's inner circle. The story further claims that following subpoenas and leaked private messages connected to the broader dispute, Taylor chose to distance herself completely and even changed her phone number to avoid further involvement. The account says the fallout became even more striking because Blake had once been viewed as one of Taylor's closest friends, someone many believed would eventually stand beside her as maid of honor. Instead, despite a wedding attended by hundreds of guests, including numerous celebrities, Blake was absent. Reports cited in the narrative claim she hoped for a last-minute invitation and had even prepared a dress, but that invitation never arrived. Meanwhile, Ryan's professional reputation also reportedly came under increasing scrutiny. According to the narrative, alleged leaked messages and the ongoing legal battle caused some studios to reconsider their relationship with him, challenging the long-standing image of one of Hollywood's most universally liked stars. The story ultimately argues that years of carefully managed publicity, confidence, and damage control collided with growing public skepticism. Rather than being undone by a single headline, the narrative concludes that Blake and Ryan's polished public image began to unravel when audiences stopped accepting the version of events they were being shown. That's the full story presented in this narrative, but the biggest question is still up for debate. What do you think? Was this simply a series of unfortunate coincidences? Or was there a larger strategy unfolding behind the scenes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Amelia Brown, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.